What is going on, all-terrain nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive,
four-wheel drive.
It only matters what you drive. If you're having fun with it, you turn around, look at it occasionally, and go, hey, that's my badass ride. This is your all-terrain nation presented by White Knuckle Off-Road Products, who, in our opinion, make the best rock rails for your off-road vehicle. They make them for Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota,
Check out their website. You'll see it.
Yeah. If you have something off-road worthy, they're probably making a rock rail for you. And what I like about them is they're an American-made company. It's a small mom and pop shop, and they just crank these things out. And God bless America for that, because I like seeing American products here, in especially being built. And they're in California, so we know they're being the shit taxed out of them for
You're
building
trying to
something.
turn this.
No, this is not political nation. But anyway, so go check out whiteknuckleoffroadproducts.com. Just tell them Dave and Kelly sent you. We do not do affiliate codes with them or anything like that, because we would buy it just how you would buy it. We love their product and think the world of John and Natalie. So whiteknuckleoffroadproducts.com. Check them out. All right, Kelly. It is it's Sunday night. We haven't been on in a couple weeks because we got sick or something. There 2 weeks ago, the family was sick, or some last week. Oh, your family came in town last week.
Yeah, my parents were in town.
And so hi guys. We're back.
Hello.
Hello is right. Buckeye in the house, Michael Cooper, Justin Zimmerman. Justin, yes, this should be a fun topic tonight, because we've got to start looking at the future of the channel and our long-term review vehicle. Now we've had some, let's see, we started out with a Jeep Wrangler or a Jeep Gladiator.
Yep.
And we moved over to the Ford Bronco Badlands. And then we moved over to the Raptor, the Bronco Raptor. And soon it will be time to move over to another vehicle. And
in the midst of all of that, we had a 24
that's right,
Mustang GT Premium, and we had a 24 Ranger Raptor. If you are following the show for financial tips on how to be smart adults, this is not the show for you.
Mama Bear's full of the advice tonight. I see it.
Because we definitely were not very smart during those times. We had some fun times. We had some fun, but
occasionally a vehicle popped up faster than it was supposed to.
Yeah.
We bought our Gladiator in what was it, May of 21, because we were told that our Bronco wouldn't be built for another year. So we thought, hey, we'll figure out what Jeep life, like new Jeep life, is like, because we had an old YJ. We've owned Jeep's products in the past, but we thought, okay, the doors were removable.
Yep.
We'll get into experience that kind of life a little bit, and till our Bronco gets here. And well, damn it, if it wasn't 6 months later.
Yeah, in August we found out our color was going away for 21, so we D99'd our order. For those that have been around a while, you know what 99 means. But and then within 3 days we had a build date for November, and the rest is history. And the Bronco showed up in November, so we then had to get rid of the Raptor, or the Gladiator, and then lived with that a while. And then the Ranger Raptor came sooner than we expected it to. We ordered a Mustang before that.
Yeah, we ordered the Mustang thinking, okay, the Ranger was going to be 6 months longer. And well, no, we had 3 new vehicles in the driveway.
Yeah, we did. It was a very expensive driveway for a while.
Well, we figured over $160,000 of vehicles.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was painful.
Yeah. Monthly wise, it was painful.
Yes.
And as Douglas Blair, who's been a member for 12 months, we greatly appreciate your support, Douglas. The Scout. We have a Scout reservation, and I dropped a video on the Scout this week, Kelly, because there was some news that some clickbaity German news got out that said, oh, they're having all these problems, they're delayed. And sometimes, they have inside sources.
There's information there.
Yeah. And sometimes there's not. And well, Scout quickly came out and said, that's BS. Like, our timetables are the same as they have been. Into 26, we hope to have something out, which in my opinion is test mules. They'll be testing them. They'll be building at the plant.
I think that means we'll see them on the road a little bit for testing, is what Dave means by that. We don't think they'll be in manufacturing for sale.
No, I think early 2027 is when we will see those vehicles. But that's another conundrum with what we have to do coming up, because we're not putting ourselves in that financial strap of, we're not a big enough channel to have multi vehicles yet.
Right.
But if you become a member, we could be.
So right now we have a Bronco Raptor in the driveway, and that is what we have. Plus,
and a 13
sort of our daughter's car. We're still debating that conversation.
Yeah, could be my permanent mobile.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah, so I thought it would be fun tonight because there's no news about a new Wrangler per se coming out, but we know it's coming.
Yeah.
They are like clockwork, 10 years on the dime of when they build new Wranglers. So the JL, now I can never get them right, is almost 10 years old. So it's coming up for the next generation, and it'll be interesting. Part of the interesting thing with me, because you're pretty pro Bronco, I'm pretty pro Wrangler. I like them both. I'm pro Wrangler because it's the next thing, and it means people watch our videos, which we greatly appreciate that. And if you guys would smash that like button for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. But I'm kind of leaning towards pro Wrangler because it's something slightly new.
Spoiler alert.
I know. Stay till the end. but in reality, it will be something completely new.
Yeah.
Well, you know how this game works now. You've been around for 5 years now, so you get it. And
how tell them how old I am. Already.
How does Wrangler react to Bronco? Because we've seen a little bit of their reaction. They dropped the 392 real quick, of like it went from being a concept to production within like a week. Which is cool. That was something that Wrangler people, they've wanted a V8 in that forever. And Jeep's just hard-headed. They're like, no, you will buy what you will eat what we give you, and you will like it, kind of thing.
But they haven't had anybody to have to push the boundaries.
Right. And so they were slow to do that. Okay, Ford brings us a Sasquatch package, which is really cool. 35-inch tires from the factory. Something that, once again, Wrangler customers have been asking for forever. And finally they go, oh yeah, we can do that. Now they have their Extreme Recon package. And I'm interested to see how does Wrangler react overall in a new generation of vehicle. I do anticipate things like the mirrors being molded to the body, because that's a brilliant idea that Ford did.
And if they don't, they're missing such a big improvement.
Yes. And I mean, you can put the mirrors on them. It's just a hassle, kind of.
Okay, so for those that have only had Bronco, think about what you take off to take off your doors. You literally just take the doors off and everything else is plug and play. Wrangler, you take the doors off, fine, but the mirror goes with it.
Yeah.
So your side mirrors go with it. And so you do have to buy an accessory aftermarket to put in those slots, which there's a lot of great options out there.
Accessories are fun though.
Accessories are fun, but that's not one accessory that I want to deal with, to be honest with you. Like, I'm old and bougie now. Like, there's things that I want that are part of owning a vehicle that I don't want to have to be like, oh, we're going to take the doors off. Yeah. Oh, wait, where did I put the mirrors?
Maybe before Bronco, you'd just been like, well, that's just what it is.
Yeah, it just is what it is. Yeah. But now that we've seen that it can be done, Wrangler better bring that out. Unless there's some weird trademark out there, or not trademark, but
oh yeah, just some weird, I know what you're talking about there, but there really can't be, because mirrors have been on cars.
I mean, you would
think the end of time. I don't know how you'd patent that one, but could be.
But I mean, unless there's something there that we're not aware of, I think that's a big miss for Jeep if they don't come out with that on the next gen.
Yeah. But then you look at, okay, engine options. Right now they have the Wrangler has a 2-liter that's somewhat new, and then they have the pretty outdated 3.6. So we do anticipate a new engine coming for the vehicle. They just killed off 4xe. How do they react to that? Because I do believe that Bronco will, in the next year or so, get some sort of hybrid version of it. I'm not a big fan of the hybrids on off-road vehicles. I'm just not a big fan of hybrid. There's too many.
Right.
You've got to protect that battery. There's a lot of things, especially Wrangler guys are want to go just beat the piss out of the thing. And Bronco guys are getting there, by the way. I'm not excluding them from that.
And they want all the torque and everything.
Yeah, you want the features from it, but they're heavy too. Battery packs are heavy. And so Wrangler just did away with 4xe. So that's something to kind of consider of like, okay, does the next one, do they reorganize that and go, no, this is still, we're back to 4xe. This is how you get it. So there are some things like that. And I do think that they really revamped the design a lot. That narrow front end, the way it slopes into the middle there. I was looking at the original Willys Jeep, Willis, because somebody in TikTok the other day just all up my ass about it's Willis. And I'm like, look, dude, I said, then they need to fix. I know the name.
Hey, it's engagement.
But I know, but it's like it's spelled. I'm saying it how it's spelled. Anyways, but and I'm only poking at Jeep people. I don't really care either way. I dig the history, but they're going to have to really take a look at it and go, okay, they have this weird narrow design front. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, how, and when you're sitting in the cab, you feel your feet being pushed towards the center a little bit.
I have noticed from a feel perspective, but I haven't noticed otherwise.
But so part of that is that narrow front, the way they do it. And I was looking at the old ones, the original Ford, Willis, whatever you want to call it. And they that just became something. I don't know why. Right. It was never like, there's historic to this. So I think they need to make them a little bit more comfortable, which is a big thing for you in Wrangler.
100%.
I mean, a big thing with you, because we were discussing this episode before we did it the other night over dinner. And there was
I didn't realize we were discussing it for the episode.
But there was a couple things that you were definitely like, hey, seating comfort's got to get better.
Yeah.
Why is that for you?
So yes, I know I'm a bigger girl, but let me tell you the difference between sitting in a Wrangler, from my experience, versus sitting in the Bronco is night and day. The Wrangler seats just are not that comfortable. And, our daughter said that in the back seat. Mm-hmm. We both said that in the front seat when we drove it from Detroit. We drove from here to Detroit and Detroit back. For those that have not taken that ride before, we were about 4 hours. No, we were like 2.5 hours in, something like that. And we both were like, Sydney, do you have any pillows that we can steal? So that was in the Gladiator itself, which is very similar to what I've talked to different Wrangler owners and things like that. For long haul trips, it's not hugely comfortable from my experience.
Now because I've had people early on, we talked about that. And when we had both the Gladiator and Bronco together, and some of the comments in the videos were like, no, you're just silly. Now I have heard the lower trims, which we had a Willys edition.
Less cushy seats.
The seats aren't as well as till you get into the kind of leather seats. Justin Zimmerman's in-house here. He might be able to talk to a little bit to the comfort, because he's got both vehicles yet. So there is some of that.
The other thing for me from a comfort perspective is actually driving the thing itself, because
this is a major one.
This one is huge, because the straight axle on the Wrangler and Gladiator, it's like driving a boat when you compare it to the independent front suspension of the Bronco. The Bronco, I feel like it's responsive. It's actually funny because I was thinking about this kind of the other day, which I know the Explorer is an independent front suspension as well that we own, but I still felt like that was almost like driving a boat when we were driving around town. So maybe it's a length perspective with it.
Some of that 13, so it's well past
an older
its prime.
Vehicle, I guess.
Suspension needs updated.
But if you compare new to new,
which we did,
the new to new, minor adjustments when driving a trip to Florida we took.
You went on a girls trip.
I went on a girls trip in the Gladiator, and
she was all excited, by the way, like all excited to take
I was super excited to take it to Florida because I knew I could take the Freedom tops off. This was before we even had the Bronco, so I was going in unbiased, super excited, and I did not want to drive the Gladiator after night because the trucks, semi trucks, are driving a little differently on the roads at that time. Like, they're quick to change lanes, and I did not feel like the Gladiator was responsive enough, quick enough for me to change lanes or those types of things if I needed to. And I'm a decent driver. I'm not going to throw myself into that terrible driver pile. So I feel like I'm pretty decent driver. So that's a thing for me. And that leads to safety issues for me too.
Well, and two, what do I always say about the Jeep? You have to participate in the drive. It's not that you like modern independent suspension, which Jeep has in Grand Cherokee. Like it's not like they don't know. We've not crossed that river yet.
It's not like they don't know.
They have this tech, but the Wrangler, part of the appeal of it is how much the suspension travel you can get from it in rock crawling, stuff like that, which you have to give and take, and part of the take is
Sure.
You got this old school technology of driving. And I remember you were like, dude, I was getting next to semis and I'm over here really trying to get away from it. Cause you know how it kind of sucks you in a little bit when you get next to them.
Cause you get pushed a little bit with the airflow.
And I think by the time you got home, you were just like, I'm done with this vehicle.
Yeah. By the time I got to Florida, I did not want to drive anywhere. I was good.
Yeah.
And then I still remembered I had to drive home. So having to drive home was kind of tough.
Yeah. Justin says the leather is super comfy, but
see,
I have a really narrow ass, so that's a big reason why I'm okay with it.
So that must be the issue, Jason or Justin. I don't know why I said sorry. It's been a long
We've had a long day.
It's been a long day already, Justin. Yeah. So that's why I preface this with I'm not a tiny girl, and I understand that, and the seating may be different, but that also doesn't change that our 15-year-old daughter, who's an athlete, so she's in really good shape, and she has found that the comfort in the back seat of the Bronco is better than the Gladiator or than the Gladiator, the regular were.
And of course, right now we're in a Raptor, so we're in the most premium thing that you can get for this segment.
But even when we were in our Badlands, she said that was super comfortable too, and that wasn't anything posh.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was.
I mean,
it wasn't a base.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not.
Right. And I do feel, and I've talked about this probably ad nauseum to a lot of you, but I do feel the Bronco being a better driver because Jeep has lost, whether Jeep guy really wants to admit it or not. And once again, we're going to own a Wrangler. It's not like I'm going to just shit on this thing because of it's the cool thing for a Bronco guy to do, or Wrangler people like to just poo on Bronco just because.
Right.
The Jeep has lost customers to Bronco because it's a daily driver. It's just 100% a better ride. Well, to your point, you don't have to be as, I mean, you should always be focused on driving, but it's not like every little micro inch of that steering wheel, you're trying to keep the truck in the center lane. You could put your finger up on top of the steering wheel. It's just going to go.
Right.
So I do really feel like that's something to consider. That does Jeep almost have to bring out now an independent suspension vehicle? Now there's two parts to this, and I know Jeep guys always get upset by this. Rubicon, no, they're not changing Rubicon Mojave to, it's going to be a solid axle, because that's the one thing that Bronco's never going to do. Whether they're never going to add a V8, like every Bronco guy thinks they need a V8.
Right.
And they're never going to, and I say that, but Bronco they could last minute like do some high tech thing, whatever. But the normal vehicles, they're never adding a V8, and Bronco is never going solid axle suspension. They're just not going to do it. There's no reason for them to do it. So that is something to consider. What are we looking at here, Kelly?
I was just looking over the comments.
But so there's keys. There is definitely pluses and minuses to that.
6, 7.
Yeah, a little bit. But so if we look at what we think's coming, I think anything probably Willie's Sport down is probably independent suspension, and that keeps some of the Jeep faithful happy. They're like, they'll bitch, oh, it's IFS, whatever. But we've seen Jeep Invasion in Gatlinburg. I bet only about 1% of those Jeeps that show up have ever gone off road.
So this brings an interesting question. Do you think that let's just say it does happen where Jeep says we're going to go ahead and we're going to put IFS in the Willie Sport and down, and anything above that is going to keep
your hardcore
the straight axle, hard stuff. Do you think that, and it may be just me overthinking, imagine that, but do you think it will potentially divide the Jeep community like Bronco Sport has divided the Bronco community?
Yes and no. I mean, so I've been around this game a long time, man. I was a member of Jeep.com, the old forum, or whatever it was, JeepForum.com. That forum for a long time. Yes, there's hardcore people in there that if their kid bought the lesser version, they would,
even though it's the same body.
Yeah, they would pimp slap that kid and just tell them they were a piece of shit. Like it's a weird, really crowd. It's splintered. There's fractions, don't get me wrong, because there's the Tuscadero crowd, and the old school guys are just like, that's not for me.
Right.
But maybe. But I think if there's brand loyalty, these companies love brand loyalty.
Yeah.
And clearly Jeep Wrangler guy loves brand loyalty, because that's why they were quick to crap on Bronco real quick, because they're like, no, our brand's way better.
Right.
So I think it would initially probably freak some people out, but overall, would it hurt sales? No, I think it can only benefit them.
And to clarify, I'm not saying that we believe in a divided community in the Bronco world. I just know that it has been, because there's many groups that I'm in where it's like, Bronco Sport, that's not even a Bronco. Why are we even talking about it?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm curious to that, which I don't know if it will divide, because your hardcore people are going to, like you said, your hardcore people are going to be like, well, that thing's not even capable. You're just driving a mall crawler. In their mind, that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Even though people need to understand that IFS is still significantly more reliable than they think that it is in an off-road world.
Yeah, into that, I've seen a lot of people, some big off-road channels are like, oh, the independent front suspension just brakes like crazy on the trails. I'm like, I've wheeled this stuff for 25 years, and have we had breakage? Of course. I had breakage in my Jeep. Like, it's just the luck of the draw sometimes. And that's where I think you can't compare the two at all. Yes, a solid axle, it's one piece, it's fairly simple, where the independent's got multi pieces to make it do its thing. And yes, when you shove tire sizes under it, when people are putting 40s under a Bronco,
when you're starting to manipulate all the different
the geometry and stuff,
all the geometry, the physics and everything that's gone into it, but also the big key there, and I'm gonna sound like a brat probably.
Oh boy.
It also depends on how you drive it too. Mm-hmm. Like, let's be clear, I've seen people on the trails doing trails with us that I do not feel like should be doing said trails with us.
And this is in every off-road community.
Yeah, this is in all. And I think people think, oh, if I drive on a trail, this car is going to take me regardless of where I need to go. But there still is a bit of skill that has to go into it. Now, the Bronco has introduced a lot more people into the community of off-roading than I think it has ever been done in the past with the Bronco off-roadios and things like that. But to the point of breakage, I do think a lot of it goes into whether you go out with the right people, whether you go on the right trails for your skill set, whether you listen to the right people when you're on those trails, going where you should and going where you shouldn't, giving it just a little bit instead of just feeling like you have to send it everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Those things are going to break some of those things, because you're putting them in a torquey situation that some of those items aren't meant to do, and you just need to crawl instead.
And I think part of that when we saw the early breakage in Broncos, there was these guys breaking CV axles left and right. And I know there was a real famous shot of this dude in a red one. It was a rapid red at the time, doing something, and all of a sudden you see the wheels clock that. And what it was, he had his front locker on, for one, in a position that it just did not be on. And two, yes, when you hit something hard or bind, all that energy is going to go somewhere, and it's going to go into the center. And I would rather have that CV axle break, which is not a hard repair by any means. I mean, it's a repair. It's an hour and a half on a trail repair easily, but, it's not something I want.
Right.
But it happens. Versus knuckles and stuff break on Jeeps. It's not anything crazy. I see Douglas Blair's double dipping over there. Look at him on Facebook and on we appreciate the love, Douglas. But to your point, yes, we've seen it at Jeep Invasion, one of the largest Jeep deals, and I want to go to Jeep Beach in Daytona sometime to get a real good feel of the crowd there. No, man, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would never poo on somebody about being a mall crawler. Now, young Dave would have been like, you're building this to go do what it's supposed to do, and that be damned, that's all it's supposed to do.
Right.
Just because I was just young and dumb and narrow focused. But when I look at what cars cost now, you get $60,000-$70,000 in it, build it how you want, take the tops off when you're going to the mall. I don't care, man. Once again, like I say in these videos, if you turn around and look at your vehicle and you're just like, I made the right choice. Look at that thing, man. She's just awesome. You made the right choice, and you've done it how you wanted to do it.
At the end of the day, it's the joy that you get out of your vehicle. That's all that matters.
Yes. And I think Jeep guy needs to learn that a little bit. Like, hey,
quintessential.
Yes. Guy. Yes.
Not
all. So far as Bronco, now Bronco 21, really 22 is really when it really got going.
Yeah.
Yes, they started June or May of 21, and it was very slow moving out. We got ours in November of 21.
On your birthday.
Yep. On my birthday. It was a good birthday present. And so they still have a few more years for big, like a next generation, the 7th generation, but it's being planned as we speak. Is Ford, do you think Ford sits there a little bit? Of course, they probably have rough sketches. There's no running mules running around right now, but do they have rough sketches of like, okay, here's where we're going to take it. Do they lean into the second, third generation where they'll start going, more truck like, kind of the OJ style a little bit? Or do they take it like they did sort of with Mustang when they brought back kind of that
Bronco?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
Or do they do it like with Mustang where they leaned into the 60s vibe, but for the next generation, they sort of just what naturally progressed where they thought it would go, not leaned into the next generation, or vice versa? Do you think they stick with what they've got a little bit?
I think Ford has done a good job at paying homage to what history was with the Bronco. So I think they've done a good job to streamline it to what it looks like for 2026, for example. I think they would do themselves a disservice if they did a complete redesign and went bigger and went back into some of those,
stop at the doors being able to take off.
Yeah. So I think it would be silly for Ford to go too crazy in the opposite direction of where they've already been, because I think they've done a good job at putting it where it needs to be right now.
But they've laid the bench now for, like we were talking, the mirrors, stuff like that.
For sure.
They've laid a good benchmark for Jeep to advance to. But do they wait back a little bit and go, okay, we're kind of waiting and seeing how Jeep reacts so we can change how we need to react?
I mean, as well as I do, we've talked to powers that be, and we've been
I don't know what you're talking about.
We've been filled in on things, historically, but not to say anything that's ever been said to us, but knowing the mindset of some of the conversations we've had, they're always listening.
Oh, 100%. They watch these like crazy.
So for me, I think they're always taking notes to see what they can do better. Not necessarily copy, but I think to go, okay, that's an interesting idea we didn't think of, or, hey, we thought about that already and it didn't work for our platform, but maybe we can revisit. I think that's what any good business does, is they look at the competition, so to speak, and they say, could we do it better? If we can't, let's put it on the shelf and look at it again. So I do think that there is going to be some slowness to too many changes, just because I do think that they need to see,
like, don't rock the boat, comes out, maybe.
Right? Because it's working right now, because like when the 60th anniversary edition came out, they said, oh, you know what? We put the handles up here, and you didn't think about that. Yeah. Like they were like, oh,
I didn't even notice them.
Right. So like, we didn't think about that until we got feedback.
Tim Bart's did though.
Right. So my point is though, they didn't think about it during that time. Nobody really caught it. But then feedback from the community said, hey, this is kind of silly that you don't have this. Cup holders. Those of you that have been around a while, that I am big on the cup holders in the back seat. And there were not any in 21, 22, I think.
Yeah. The armrest was a weird thing too.
The armrest was a weird thing.
In the back seat.
In the back seat. So it's kind of hard to answer your question and say, do they sit back? Because I think they're always making tweaks along the way that they see our opportunities.
We were told the reason why is because the interior was designed by Ford Europe.
Correct.
Europeans do not have open bottles and stuff in cars.
So I was actually told at the launch of ladies only off-rodeo in Texas by the designer of the Bronco that they didn't think about it because Europeans don't have drinks in the car. They just like in the back seat.
But I feel like that's also saying, hey, we sort of rush certain things.
Maybe.
Because to a point, and I'll get to it in a minute, because there was a good point about the interior of the Jeep. But I have to say, Steve P.
Yay, Steve P.
From Arizona.
You. Hello, sir.
Gifted 10 memberships, which we greatly appreciate. Guys, members get early access to not all videos, but ones that I know can sit there and let you guys watch them for a day or two before the major audience get theirs. Plus, you get pictures, insight that normal
sometimes there's polls when we're thinking about changes to different things,
like studio stuff like that. You get to see insight to like that. So thank you, Steve P, for doing that. But I want to get to there was definitely a good comment about the
I think it's down further
about the interior. There we go. What's this one say, Kelly?
So Michael Cooper, hello. It says it does seem like the Jeep interior seems narrower than the Bronco. You definitely feel it. You definitely feel it a little narrower.
Yeah. It's something I think that's just, we always did it this way.
Yeah.
Oh, now Bronco. Okay. I do feel like that the next Wrangler is going to get more interior space. And I tell you what, and I said it in a build and price video I've just did of Willie's Wrangler, just to get an idea of what the pricing is on those right now. I think the radio system that they're doing in Wrangler now is by far way better than what Bronco's doing. I feel
sync.
No, well, they have their Connect 5. No, I'm talking about the way the screen is mounted into the dash, and I'll bring it up here, because I want to kind of go on this a little bit, because that, like the interior, something while I'm bringing this up, Kelly, the interior, we did notice that the Wrangler's plastic seemed to be a little bit better than Bronco initially.
Yeah, they seemed a little more stout. And I think
could take a beating a little bit.
I think that, and let's be honest, yes, Bronco was in the community a long time ago, but you have to remember that the new Bronco was new to the community again, from the perspective of, hey, we see all these opportunities on how we can build this vehicle, but they haven't had a vehicle to try and true on the market until they've had a few years in it to go, oh, these are things that we probably should work on, or things like that. But yet Jeep has had that ability to go ahead and be like, you know what? We notice the vehicles are getting scratched up a little easier, or things like that, to evolve their interior for their market.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. The way
better.
The dash, of course, this happened like 2 years ago. They went to this screen because we had the little 7-inch screen or whatever they called it in our Gladiator, and it was good, functioned properly. Would I've liked a little bigger screen? I'm always, why do we buy a new TV every 5 years? Is because you want the next biggest thing. But I feel like the way they've integrated this in, it's just a little bit better in my opinion.
I would agree.
The way Broncos, and I'm not pooing on Bronco, because it's like we're going to move to Wrangler. You guys know I love Bronco, and I mean I love both of them, but there are both brands do things better than each other. And for me, when they went to this system, I just like this a lot better. Now I like the center stack in the Bronco, the all digital gauges, way better than what they have there.
Well, I will say one thing that which we test vehicles all across the spectrum.
Yep.
So let's just be clear on my next statement here. I do appreciate that they still have buttons on you knew where I was going with that, in the infotainment system in general, in the AC and all the things. So I appreciate that that's still there. And for those of you that are my diehard Ford Bronco owners, there are a lot of manufacturers out there that have moved everything in the infotainment
Tesla
center.
goofy thing.
The whole thing. Controlling of the HVAC, turning it down, turning it up, doing all the things. So that being said,
I like this steering wheel better, set up better in the Wrangler right now than I do Bronco. And only why I happen to notice it today, because I don't drive our Raptor all the time. It's basically your daily driver. And I went to get in to do something about changing the next song or something on there. And I looked at the layout, and there were so many options. And because, once again, I don't drive it all the time, I was kind of overwhelmed of like, where's like, it took me a second, which, you know what that did? Also caused me to look at the steering wheel, not the road, a little bit. And I like how Jeep and the brand
Isn't it
yes, and that's what I was about to say.
Sorry.
The brands in general, I love how they have the volume and the next on the back of the steering wheel. Like I think it's really, now it takes a little bit to get used to.
I was going to say, but in Bronco's defense, you had to eventually learn that was back there. So you probably had to look and think about and all the things. But yes, I would say that is one thing that I did like about the Gladiator, was that behind there, because those are the Those are the two things you're going to use the most. And I
loved it in my Ram Rebel that I had. I like that. It just, I don't know, something, there's a button or something, the way layouts that always appeal to individuals. Yeah. And for me, it just appeals to me like that.
And I can see that because I do find that even though I daily it, I don't turn the volume up very often or down. But when I do, I have to look at it to do it.
You don't listen to Freedom Rock? Turn it up, brother.
It's currently on high rotation in our vehicle right now.
But you're in a country phase.
Yeah, we're all in a country phase. All Sydney and I.
Yeah. But something I will say, and it's hard because this is live, so I can't really zoom too much into it. But did you notice above the radio they started their own build your own device rail up there?
Oh, did they open up a
you can
puddle too?
You can see if I can find it real quick. You can actually buy, if I remember, there's an accessory where you can buy the rail. Here, let me pull this off so I don't make everybody car sick here.
Please don't.
But yeah, you can actually buy the rail for it now through Jeep, which I mean, good for them.
Like as an add-on.
Yeah, good for the owner of being able to do that. But of course, when I open my mouth, I can't find it quickly.
Yeah, put your drop downs over on the right hand side. Your little arrow. Click on your arrow.
Hold on a minute. Leave me be.
Or not.
Leave me be.
You see what I have to deal with, people?
I know. I'm such a pain in the butt.
Sometimes.
But anyways, bring this right back up there. You can see it on top of above the radio there. It's where you can do your own build your device thing, which is something that Bronco brought to Wrangler. And now there was companies like 67 Designs. There was a bunch of companies, Bullet. They all had ways of mounting stuff up there. But I thought, good for the brand, the OEM, to go, you know what? People like that.
Yeah.
And that's part of the fun of this back and forth between the Bronco versus Wrangler is, no, I'm a glass in.
Mostly.
But that's something that both of them, where competition for both of these is so good for the buyers of either one you want to buy. And that's what makes me excited about maybe owning the next generation Wrangler is it's, how do they react? I gotta know. Does it work well as Bronco did, or did they make it even better than what Bronco did?
Yeah.
And to live with it for a year or so. And I'm very excited.
I just hope if we do go to Wrangler, I hope our Bronco community doesn't kill us.
Yes, please in comments, please don't kill us. But we're auto journalists, and we run every vehicle we can. And when I don't know that I've talked about this in a long time, but I told you the other day, initially Bronco was supposed to be a 1-year ownership, and then we move on to the next vehicle. And Kelly fell in love with the thing. It was supposed to be my vehicle. Kelly fell in love with it.
Now, in my defense, I sold my Xterra for this.
Well, viewership just went down there when you said Xterra.
And there's a new Xterra coming too.
That's another. Go ahead.
That's a whole other ball game. But in our defense, I sold my Xterra, so I no longer had a daily. So the Bronco,
use that as a down payment,
right?
Sort of, because then the AC went out in the house, and well, that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. That's a Boyd story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it made sense to become my daily.
No, it 100% did. I'm only poking the bear with you. But it was we fell in love with the community, and we hadn't been in the off-road since the Xterra. We had a good Xterra community that felt like home with Bronco. Like, it was real easy to fall in love with the Bronco community because it felt much like the Xterra community. Like, hey, we're not the big dogs in the house.
Yeah, it was very warm.
Yeah.
And welcoming. For the most part. And
I think Jeep is, especially if you get to know some people like Invasion, Jeep Beach and stuff, I think you find your clique in all of these. It's just a bigger clique to, find your market with Wrangler. But that leads me to the next thing with Wrangler. Aftermarket. Now, Bronco's got a really solid, way better than probably Toyota and the other brands as far as aftermarket support. Going in, it's going to make it easy if we wanted to buy a Wrangler and we want to start modifying it to show how easily this works. Generally, it's fairly affordable. Jeep, there's probably a Chinese maker somewhere making everything.
I was going to say, that's the only thing that bothers me, because I think Bronco is still new enough where you
turn that at you a little bit. Sorry, thank you.
You ruin my thoughts when you make me adjust things. But I think that's the thing that bothers me a little bit about switching to Jeep, because I think Bronco is still mostly small enough that you can still find quite a few American-made items in the States that aren't astronomically overpriced. But when you go to the Jeep side of things, it's either international knockoffs or
probably
super expensive.
I mean, I think there's good mom and pop people still building Jeep stuff.
Yeah.
The problem with that is usually it used to be Transamerica used to buy them up as soon as they could, just for the name and whore the parts out to China. And yeah, so and that's starting to happen. I do see that happening in we know some big Bronco aftermarket people that got bought out with other companies. And I mean, that's just probably the nature of capitalism that we live in. But
yes, Steve P, we absolutely gained an awesome Bronco community, and that is part of something we've talked about.
Kept Bronco Talk Live going for a long time.
Yeah.
When this was a dedicated Bronco show at one time.
Yeah.
But yes, Steve, thank you for that comment. Douglas Blair, do Jeeps do better with portal axles, or do you think the Bronco can use them for? I think the Bronco benefits more from portals than the Wrangler does, because it gives you it's a good way of moving everything up without really moving everything up suspension geometry wise. And it does the same for the Wrangler. I just think, I mean, the solid axle of everything, it's probably like 60-40, Douglas, to be honest. It's something I'd have to kind of think about and chew on, but I think it benefits Wrangler guys, but I think where independent guys can't get the amount of suspension lift to keep the geometry right, I think it pushes the truck up without changing the CV, the angles of CV axles and stuff. So I think that any independent suspension vehicle probably benefits more from portals than I would say solid axle does. But good question.
And that's more his wheelhouse than mine is.
Right. Right. But we were talking interior a little bit.
Yeah.
Something I'm interested about. Obviously, the Bronco came with the cool stuff where you could add a bunch. They've thought out of the box about where would people like to add accessories. We don't have to do it, but we can make it accessory ready in spots like the door pockets that Mountains of Metal came up with. Does Jeep take a page out of that now and go, you know what? Yeah, we don't have to build the final product. The customer builds their dream version of it. We should open up our capabilities of adding spots where we think people would do, like door pockets, more Molly panels, stuff like that.
So I think they already do some of that with their Mopar aftermarket product that they have on their platform, because they have quite a few items on there. But I see where you're going with this of like, but you make it a little more, do you make it a little easier to modify versus,
but you know how like Bronco has like all the accessory ready points.
Yeah. No, I know
they like stress in the plastics of like, here, do it here.
No, I know what you're saying. And that's where I'm trying to think, like, go to is that I don't know. Like, it makes sense to me for them to do it, but I also know that they're battling a copycat mindset crowd to go, oh, Bronco did that, so now you guys in Jeep had to do it. So I do wonder if they will do that, or whether they will come up with their own like language, so to speak, of it, and be like, this icon means you can lift here, or this icon means you can do this here.
And I don't mean they call it.
No, I know, but I'm just saying is like, I feel like it would make sense for them to come out with, yes, that ability to be like, yes, these things are easier to modify. Yeah.
I think they will. Things like Ford's the ability to do the slide out tailgate, stuff like that. I mean, Jeep had a tailgate table, so that's not like original. Jeep did the like IAG does the tire pump in the door. They've done some of that stuff from the factory.
Yeah.
And I'm not like Jeep's just gonna have to follow whatever Bronco does, because Jeep will innovate and force Bronco to do something
for sure
we never thought of too.
That's where I think it's cool with their almost symbiotic relationship, because they do have to like push each other from that perspective, because not everybody who loves a Jeep is going to love a Bronco regardless, whether they're putting their line in the sand, or
they'll
whether
die on that
just,
mountain. Yeah.
Right. Whether it's them dying on that mountain, or whether it's just, it's just really not for me. Same with Bronco people. You know, there's Bronco people that are going to draw the line in the sand and they're going to die on that hill and they're going to say, I'm absolutely not going to do it. But you do have things that each truck does differently. And it makes sense to push them and be more comfortable on the other side.
Well, kind of going from the interior to the roof, both of them are removable roofs.
Right.
Jeep does a 2-piece top where the front Freedom panels come off and then you can take the rest of it off. Bronco said we can do that one better. We can do the Freedom style panels and then make the center available to come off. And then you have a smaller piece in the back, which does make it easier to get on and off of the vehicle.
It's lighter.
Does Wrangler take a look at something like that? Part of Wrangler is they have the crossbar through the roof that helps for support. Bronco thought we're gonna call it. They called it. It was hilarious. Open air.
Open air. Yeah.
We're doing this big
except
open
for
air
with the
thing.
Raptor, of course.
Yeah. Except when I roll the vehicle over and structurally maybe it's not a sound. I'm
hoping
just,
there's not a tree in the middle.
Yeah. I'm just speculating. But do they go, okay, we can do that better, but then they go, well, shit, Ford's had a rough time with their tops. Now, I can assure you, both Jeep and Ford guy, those tops are built by almost the same company. In some cases, it is the same company, but Ford, this is Ford spec that they want, and this is Jeep spec. Now, Ford was trying to make the tops lighter. That's why they have the cardboard core in them. 100%. We're trying to make this thing lighter, still structurally sound. It just hasn't worked out for Ford. Now, the painted tops are great. And you know why? Because they went to that Jeep style, more fiberglass top.
And if you don't believe us, go and compare a Wrangler and a Bronco that has the white interior roof, and you will see they are very similar, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I think at one time, Wrangler Bronco was going to have this porthole in the back of it to make it even more open, which is
that's kind of cool.
I can't remember if they actually do those or not. I don't think they actually ever did it.
You don't.
The windows were supposed to at one point pop out.
I'll be honest, that is one item that I think is.
Did you see her like?
That's because it looks like they should come out. Like when you look at the hardtop, it looks like that's how they should work. And so for those that aren't as deep into it as we are going to immediately think, oh, the side windows come off. And I know you loved driving Baja when we had our soft top on Rebecca. And I don't hate the idea of having the windows come out.
Wait, because you jumped in the middle of my idea.
I'm so sorry.
So guess what has that? The new Jeep Recon. Their EV. It's the EV. This won't be here in 2 years. But they developed that idea further, and it is a hard top. It's not a removable top, so they're trying to do the same open air experiences. Doors come off.
So it's functional.
But Jeep brought it to market of like, yeah, we can actually do that.
Yeah, and
so I think the next Wrangler is going to get that. I think 100% they're going to get, okay, well, they already have the cool top with the tonneau cover that slides back and all that fun stuff. The Scout is going to do something similar to that. But no, I think that's where Jeep can really kick Ford's ass at the next generation is innovating the hard tops just a little bit. Because once again, they've just not had to. Now the old 2 doors that you could get in the 80s and 90s, yeah, you just were stuck with what you got. But the 4-door came out and people wanted to be able to remove, hey, I don't want the whole roof coming off. So I think that's a good spot that Jeep could look at and go, we can do it better.
Hi, Steve P. Thanks for joining.
Yes, Steve P. Thank you, sir. I know you will listen to this later on. And Steve P. is a good Patreon member and supporting member here on the channel. Yeah. He does both. Obviously, we have Patreon as well. AllTerrainNation.com.
There were some other mentions of Patreon in there.
Oh, well, thank you guys. And Patreon members get a little bit different than membership does. So I try to give something.
There's perks to each of them.
Something to everybody. But the roof, Kelly, I really do. I think that's a place that Jeep could look at and go, there's innovation. We haven't been forced to, but we've had these ideas in our notebooks. Let's see if we can do it.
But do you wonder if they're a little nervous having seen the Bronco items having been the same manufacturer ish, the same idea ish. And then they go, well, it's worked for all this time. Maybe we don't rock the boat because the roofs had issues with Bronco.
I think the core of what makes the hardtop for Jeep work is the core of the top.
Got it.
Once again, Ford was trying to do it better. They were trying to outsmart Jeep at this. That's why they went to this car. That's a Ford design. Everybody can bitch about Bastos, who makes the C8 Corvette's removable top. It's not like they didn't just learn how to do this. And they make stuff for Wrangler. But I think Ford was trying to outsmart them a little bit and got played on that one. Like, because it was an Italian company's core. If I remember right, it's been a while. It was an Italian company, I think, that did the core, built it. And then another company said, here's how you do the resin to go around it. And problem with those tops is they're not sealed. When they sandwich all that together, they don't seal. Moisture gets in on that cardboard. You know what happens with cardboard. It melts, shrinks up.
Essentially.
It gets moldy and all that. That's got to go somewhere. So it cracks the tops. But I think there is a way that Jeep can stay true to what they do, how they build tops, but maybe innovate. Portal windows come out. Maybe you take and go, okay, we can even easily make that rear glass, some little, like the Freedom tops and the trucks have, where you just turn that thing and it does it. Maybe there's quick ways of doing that.
I do feel like that's an opportunity, because
you never liked running the glass up.
I don't like running the glass up, because I know that's a stupid expensive replacement if it were to ever break going down the road. But I do like the open air piece of it. So that's the struggle for me.
And the struggle for me, guys, is go over to novesites.com.
What a terrible transition.
I know. I'm not good at this yet. The sailing part. Novesites.com. Check out their lights. We got this cool toggle switch. It's a wireless toggle switch. This is it right here. And I don't know if I turned it on. Can't really see the light come on. I guess you can kind of see the red of it on. You've got 6 switches there. The cool thing about this is it's Bluetooth. So you can be out. Maybe you got a winch. It's dark. You're by yourself. You bring this out. You turn your lights on out front. You can see. You can do your winching part. And there's ways of doing it like that. Maybe you're at the campsite. You've got lights on the back of your vehicle. And you want to put this on the campsite table. And hey, Kelly, can you turn that light on for me so I can see to get in the back of the vehicle? Bam.
You know what else would be cool is that if you're camping in your little tent and then you have that with you, and then you go, I got to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Turn your lights on your vehicle.
Turn your lights on your vehicle.
And this is a USB-C, so you charge it that way. I'm not sure the runtime on this thing. I would imagine, because it doesn't really run much, that it would be a fairly long time. But if you use and I'm not saying you have to buy this, but they have all kinds of, they sponsored our vehicle. And if you go over to Novesites and put in the code ATN Offroad, you can save up to 20% on your purchase. And yes, it is an affiliate code.
Yep. So we do
get a kickback from that, only from them. It doesn't cost you anymore if you ordered it with the code or without.
And you just get a kickback, or you just get the 20% off.
So look at us selling things.
Look at us.
We're things. Go team. Anyways, back to Wrangler. So what would excite you about it, Wrangler? Because you're not excited by this.
I'm not.
And we've talked about the next vehicle purchase. Because we're such an off-road leaning channel, we could go buy a pickup truck like our buddy Tim does with, pickup truck plus SUV talk. We don't have the budget to keep up with TFL and go buy 16 different things. And then you never see them on the channel for a while. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, when did they get this? And they're like, we've been testing this for a year. Yeah. We don't have that budget yet. So I feel like for us and for you guys, that's probably where we would lean, is if maybe Bronco comes out at the same time, and do we stay with them, or do we test the waters of Wrangler? And it's not to piss off our audience by any means. It's just the nature of when we go test drive vehicles, we don't just go to Ford.
Right.
we go into Toyota and other things, and we haven't got to experience long-term ownership of another brand in a while.
Well, and honestly, we don't get a ton of time in Ford and vehicles unless we go on trips or things like that with them. So, I don't know where I was going with that, but I don't know. I guess for me, the big thing is the comfort and the interior aesthetics. Mm-hmm. Those have to be stepped up a little bit for me.
If we saw it tonight, say Jeep, here's the next generation, we look at it and we both go, shit, that thing looks really good. We have to place, because in our business, you have to be one of the first. Mm-hmm. Do we, here's the deposit.
Depends on how much the deposit is.
Well, the deposit would be like a Bronco Raptor outside plus probably a few dollars. But do we, I mean, that's where I'm at right now is do we, and would you guys want to see, clearly we've been Ford centric for a long time. Would you?
You know what Allie's gonna say.
I
She's
know
in
what
the
Allie.
comment section.
Yeah, obviously Bronco. Allie, who I don't know if she got back from Bronco off rodeo. Her and Papa Bear were having some fun.
I don't know. I saw her pictures that she saw Mike Clouds and Amy Clouds yesterday. Yep. So I don't know if she's back yet. But I assume she is.
And of course, Allie, and I know like Alcione Ford and them, like all of our friends with Ford brand, they would be like, no, screw the Wrangler. But as a business,
all right, y'all,
we have to look at the next thing for clicks. I'm not gonna lie, we have to pay the bills, so we have to have people watch the videos.
Right. Yeah. So was there a question in there?
Yeah, I said, do we put that deposit down tonight if we saw it, knowing we're not going to get to test drive it?
You know, when you ask me a question, I'm always going to have 6 questions behind it.
Well, so bring them. That's part of the fun of the show.
It would depend on how much the thing is, the reservation. Mm-hmm. It also would depend on when it's anticipated for the vehicle to come out, because as we know, and we've talked to several different folks about this, is that we're a little top heavy on our Bronco Raptor. So we'd have to
thanks Ford. Thanks Ford on that one. Let's drop the price by 20 grand.
So we'd have to think about the time frame of it from that perspective.
A lot of super chats would help that.
So there's a lot of factors in it. So it's tough to say yes, jump, because
it'd be weird pulling up at Supercell East in a
I think we would get disowned.
Nah, Mark and Jess will always have their Broncos.
Yeah, but you know, it would be
Jess and Mark might disown us.
Yeah, they might.
Allie probably would.
Yeah, Allie probably would too.
Never answer a text message again.
Yeah.
We bought 2 vehicles from her.
We did. And we've sent several people to them. But I don't know. That's a tough question for me, because for one, I love the Bronco so much. That's really tough for me. Like, I know we've talked about this, like the auto journalist side of it. It's tough because this is kind of one of those reasons why I used to negotiate your vehicle buys and you used to negotiate mine, because we were emotionally invested in it. And at this point, I'm kind of emotionally invested, and it's tough.
Yeah. Thank you, Valley Dude, for that. And I saw your Xterra comment. Yes, definitely hit the like button to help us out. We would appreciate that.
Yeah, I know Jason Leopold, we'd have to park in the visitor park.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. This is the next bug. For those that don't know, if you're new to the channel, I used to do a Nissan specific channel. I had a podcast with it, excuse me. And Nissan would send us out to test new vehicles. I tested the Titan. Sadly, the Xterra got killed off during all of this. But we are very close to the Nissan community as well, because like I said earlier, we fell in love with the community, sold us on the vehicle. Well, we bought the vehicle, but the community kept us in that vehicle in 2 generations of that vehicle. So
we both had them.
That's the next game changer is, do you go, okay, say I had to reset my computer, y'all, right before the show. I had building prices done for roughly both vehicles. Bronco, if you look at the Rubicon, Badlands, spec'd out how we'd probably spec them. We're now at 70 grand. Yeah. So then do you go 4Runner? Maybe we look at a TRD Sport or something of 4Runner. Now it's been out for a couple of years. So for us, we need new vehicles. But do we lean in our roots and go Wrangler? Everybody's doing a Wrangler. Let's go to Xterra, because we know that product. So, and that's kind of where I was saving that. Thank you for bringing it up, Belly Dude. I was kind of saving Xterra as that kind of like, let's throw a kink into this plan.
Xterra's tough for me.
Because it's Nissan.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of them. But the other tough part for me is, and we talked about this, is it going to come out and be capable, or is it going to be a glorified Pathfinder and And I know talk is that, yes, it will be capable. The other thing is for me, for the channel, how many people are going to be looking at Xterra?
Well, it's still fairly popular today.
But
let me finish. So this last generation is still fairly popular. Is companies like Z1 Off-Road still cranking out parts like crazy for it, and they were late to that game. The Xterra was dead by the time that Z1 decided to jump in on it because they saw a need in the market. So there's that. They're out of Atlanta. We're friends with that company, so we could try to like, hey, you guys want to try something new? Here's our vehicle.
Partnership.
Good partnership there. Reports are from the CEO, and of course they all full of shit. It's going to be super aggressive. That was their. They know there's Xterra is a pivotal vehicle for Nissan. Was it ever a big seller? Yeah, the first 2 years, the smaller version that I had, the Gen 1s, they sold almost 100,000 of those. Like for Nissan, that was like, holy shit. They didn't realize the Xterra was going to be the vehicle it was. Right. They sold that one on everything you need, nothing you don't, which somebody commented a minute ago going with the Bronco or the Wrangler, it needs to be lighter, needs to be less tech. I think we're going to see a whole new thing of like less tech in these vehicles. I know federally they're pushing to have all the safety features, but I think there's a way to meet regulations without like going overboard. People got fascinated with tech because of Tesla.
Right.
And I think we're seeing it now, man. Like the next generation, our daughter's generation to say 25, they don't want tech. It's very strange. Like they want to use it on their phones, but as far as vehicles, they don't want that anymore. And I think we're going to see a refocus.
Because the noise is loud.
No, I just think
I don't mean the literal noise. But
I think they have so much tech in their daily life.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like I think that there's like everything is so loud right now.
So Nissan could do themselves a real favor of going back to what made Xterra great. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Wrangler and Bronco, even the 4Runner, are going to crank out the most luxurious thing ever. Xterra, like I was going to say, is a pivotal time for Nissan. They're hurting. They're all in on Xterra. There's even talks that Pathfinder goes back to its roots, which would make no sense to me because they're selling.
Why would you have Xterra and Pathfinder?
Yeah, they're selling 5,000 of those a month.
And it's the mom vehicle.
Yeah, it's now known as you've got.
Sorry for those that might own one.
Yeah, but you've got 15 years of that being a soccer mom car. So Xterra being everything you need, nothing you don't. Yes, it needs to be capable. They damn well better come out with a version with 35s because if they don't, Nissan's always did the bare minimum. So to make that company pop again, they need something fun. The last Z did not spark enough interest. It saved the vehicle for a while. It's basically the same Z, just with a new body on it.
I guess that's the nervousness I have for Xterra.
Well, but Nissan, they know where they're at. Altima's dead. Maxima's gone. They just killed the Aria, the EV, the full EV SUV. They're having to refocus that real quick. Canton, Mississippi was being switched over to an EV plant. Not now. Now they just got the contract for the next generation Frontier and Xterra. That's going to be built on a platform by Mitsubishi. It's not going to be, Nissan's not designing that platform. That was part of them wanting to be Mitsubishi has always been, I know if I could say it. They've always been known for off-road vehicles. So that's a big plus in Nissan's category of like, oh, we've got that tech from that company. So the stars are lining up for them to make the Xterra great. It's does Nissan pull the trigger? And I think if Nissan were to bring the Xterra out, especially with 35s, I mean, you would like flip out on that, thinking it was awesome.
Probably because we had 33s. And
offer
that was awesome.
Make a true Pro 4X with front and rear lockers. Yeah, the damn thing's going to be $50,000-$60,000.
Right. So it'll be competing.
That's where it's just that's where the market's at.
Yeah.
But you have to, if you want to charge those prices, we're past the time where a rear locker's
negotiable.
Now, for most people off-roading, a rear locker is all you need. Really, we off-roaded for a long time without any lockers.
Remember, we had a locker in the rear locker in my Xterra, and we never hooked it up.
Yeah, we traded out for a Air B locker at the whole axle. We swapped the axle out in the middle of a pouring rainstorm.
Oh my gosh, we were laying in like
switching this axle out. But Yeah, I never finished hooking it up. Just got lazy
because it was an air locker.
Yep. So if Nissan would prove we've got some balls, that out of the three, I would lean there personally.
So, do you wonder though if we think it has a large community because we are connected to it?
I think people like new Broncos sold well because people didn't want to be Wrangler. And I think there's always that crowd out there that doesn't want to be these two guys. We'll have removable roof and all that shit. No, we won't have any of that.
So TN Code Monkey says, went to Windrock for the first time and beat the crap out of my skid plates. So funny thing about Windrock is, for those that don't know, we used to host an event for Nissan Xteras, and it turned into Nissans, whoever showed up, but it was mostly Xteras. So that's why I ask you is, do you think that we are a little biased with it because we've got that history of knowing the community, and we still have all these people that we're still friends with that were in the community? You know what I mean? Because we know a lot of people that have switched from Xterra to Bronco. And we say welcome to the dark side every time somebody comes over. So it's like, it makes you wonder, will they switch from Bronco to Xterra, those that have switched from Xterra to Bronco?
Maybe, but there's always a new audience that you know, when Xterra came out in 99, 2000, they already had a Pathfinder doing the same thing. And it still outsold what the Pathfinder was doing. It's market. It's a good looking vehicle. Number one, it's got to look the part.
Right.
Xterra always looked the part. The second generation, I felt like got a little too big versus pretty big jump in size.
Well, that was perfect for me.
Well, no, and it was perfect for most people, but it was a pretty drastic jump. Within 4 years, they redesigned,
which is the same size as the Bronco.
No, and that's the standard now size for those vehicles. But it was the old school Xterra was like the more Japanese little trucks,
right?
And then we went to the American sized SUV. So if they can stay somewhat size wise, I think that's a key. I don't think that the community would be the same community we were used to. No, I think new communities pop up out of nowhere. I see it in Bronco. I see the original buyers from 21. Most of them have sold their vehicles and moved on to something else. It's just the nature of people like to try new things. And I think maybe there's room for that, but probably the smartest move would be go Wrangler.
Yeah.
And then maybe look at Xterra. And then if you say Wrangler, and we'll wrap this up. Say Wrangler comes out spring of 28. We jump in, we get one. 10 years. I'm expecting 10 years on Bronco too. I think they're stealing that playbook,
which would put us at 31, which should be 3 years.
Or at least 30. So you get a couple years in between those two, and I think there's a good balance there. And especially by 30, where do these vehicles go from there?
Right.
Because you're still looking at California is damn set on,
I think it's 2035.
Well, they're still set on the federal law passed it. They cannot dictate regulations any longer.
I'm saying, I think is 2035 is when they were trying to come up
with. But they're all going to start pivoting.
Right.
But I think there's a weird situation now with that of, do the manufacturers have some balls and be like, hey, California, you're just not going to get any new vehicles in because this is what we're building. And whether you like it or not, probably not. They never do have any balls. What administration's in by then? Because, the auto start stop tech, it's been the rage to talk about here lately, which I haven't talked about it because I could really give two shits about it. I know a lot of people hate it. I hate it, but it's just, for me, not worth talking about. That's gone, but we get in 3 years or 2.5 years, a new administration. If it goes to the other side, they always have a hard on to undo what the other side did.
Right.
And the poor manufacturers in this are all caught in the middle of like, what the F do we do? Like, how do we build vehicles when you two can't every 3.5 years make up your mind on that? But California throws a wrench into all of this. But I think we got some good vehicles coming. I think we're in the golden period of vehicles still. We were all worried. V8s died real quick.
Right.
They're pushing all this bullshit tech that nobody wanted. I think there's good safety, like the cameras. I think that's good safety tech. Some of the lane departure I've talked about, I didn't like it. Used it when I needed to. Worked out great. Past that, I don't need the car driving for me. I like driving. Maybe our kids' generation down the road decide that the Tesla way of just no steering wheel, maybe that's where we end up.
Well, so it's actually funny you say that, because I actually was having a conversation with Sydney yesterday, because for those that don't know, our daughter's 15, and so she's getting ready to be driving on her own. She's got a long way to go before this happens. But I told her, and you and I haven't even talked about this, when we went to go get pizza the other night, I told her, I said, or no, it was a different time. I told her, I said, if you want to get to a point where you are driving, I need you to put the phone down when you're a passenger in the seat in this car.
Get used to it. I said,
because I need you to get used to the way that I'm responding to things that are happening on the road. You also need to know where you are. You need to know all these things. And we were coming back from somewhere, and I told her, I said, to be honest with you, I actually like to drive sometimes because it makes me disconnect from my phone. Like I will get overwhelmed at work, and I will say, you know what? I got to go for a drive, because that is what disconnects me from this computer that's in my hand all the time, or the computer that I'm typing at all day long, or the computer that we're sitting here, doing everything on. So I do think that there's still value in a vehicle that you have to drive, that you have to focus on. Now, to your point, whether that is realized in the next generation, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do think, to your point, Bronco Rob did have a good point before you jump wherever it is. He's like, trade the Raptor in for a Badlands and stay with the Bronco community. Then you can get another new vehicle for your journalist needs. So funny you should say that, because we kick ourselves all the time for not keeping Rebecca.
Yes.
Because it would be paid off by now.
Yes.
And we would have known it. We would have owned it from day one. And
then we had our off-road toy.
We had our off-road toy for that. So unfortunately, the Raptor, like we said, is kind of,
we thought at the time,
top heavy right now.
The 8K we got off of it, we thought, holy shit, we're not going to see that deal again. And literally a month after we purchased the damn thing, Ford decided to drop $20K off the price tag.
Ford corporate, not just the dealers.
And so it's killed resale value for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Because I could find probably the same one now for 59.
Yeah.
And we don't know 59 on that. I can guarantee you that.
No, we know.
We
do definitely have gap insurance, though.
Yes, but that is what it is. All right. So final question, Kelly. I'm gonna bring this up. So here is a Rubicon. I didn't do anything built. It's on green, which is a upcharge.
Of course it is.
But this is how it starts.
Okay.
No options. And I'm not adding any options to this thing. But we look at it, and starting price is what?
$52,685.
Can you say that again?
Sorry. $52,685. It's been a long day.
Right. So that's starting price. Like I said, we're just going to compare. And now I want to go over to show you guys the Bronco starting price. And this should be easier than it is, but it's not. All right. So starting price of the Bronco is what?
You better find one of those upcharged colors, because you were upcharged color on
That's
the other one.
Good point. All right, so that's the most expensive.
That's the most expensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
$52,075.
So they're within both 33-inch tires, both front rear lockers, very capable vehicle.
Are they both hardtop?
Yes, both hardtop. I did make sure to put a hardtop on this one.
Okay.
So priced accordingly.
Yeah.
In say 2 years, where does that of the both brands most capable vehicle starting price?
And what model is this on each?
This is Badlands versus Rubicon. Not Rubicon X, just normal Rubicon. You still get front rear lockers on both of them, sway disconnect, similarly optioned.
If we go the same way we've been going over the last few years, we'll be at 60.
Well, so Jeep actually dropped the price of theirs by $1,000 for this year. They've actually lowered the MSRP because they got used to that pandemic money where there was a lot of free money floating around. And a Rubicon used to cost you probably pre-pandemic, you probably could have got for 58 or 48 starting out. And you can see how we've jumped from there.
Right.
Badlands, same thing. I think it was more 45 to 48, somewhere in there is what it base started out at.
So
that's with soft top, but similarly priced. But I think in say 2 years, next generation Wrangler is going to go up. every generation, new generation, they do sneak the price up. So what are we probably
whether
60?
it be in destination or
Oh God's destination's $2,000 now.
Doesn't surprise
What did we figure
me.
the other day? It was what I forget what
2,200 or 2,300.
No, but it was like 2% of the purchase price or something we figured.
Hold on. Yeah, I think so.
Rough. I mean, we're not math wizards.
Or was it 5%?
I don't remember.
I think it was 5%.
But it was like of the whole purchase price now, 5% would say
added on.
Yeah. But so I think if we're what I say the Bronco here is at 55 starting out in 2 years, next generation. And we could look at base models, but we're never buying a base model vehicle. So I can no reason to look at the most cheap thing we can. But that's in our business, obviously we have to pay to play.
Right.
But that's why we need y'all support. And I'm not being funny with this. Just by smashing the like button literally tells YouTube, oh, I don't normally watch this channel. Yeah. They're pretty all right. Smashing the subscribe button, believe it or not, which we've had a massive growth in subscribers. Mm-hmm. We had 2 videos pop off. Like my girl over here did a minivan video that popped off. Like
that I was dying at the Chicago Auto Show when I did it too is the funniest thing.
What did I say? Almost 60,000 subscribers, something like that. I forget what we picked
60,000 views, not 60,000 subscribers.
Sorry, I wish.
We are not at 60,000 subscribers.
We'd have that gold button or that silver button back here.
There you go.
But so believe it or not, subscribers mean everything to small channel. I don't care what channel you're watching. If there's some manufacturing they rely on, be video games or whatever, when you hit subscribe, that's what these manufacturers see. They just see the bullshit numbers there and they're like, okay, they're popular. We will open up access for them. And we've been very, very lucky over the years, but you know what? We can always, your help just by those little things can completely help us.
Before you go,
where we
go to Valley Dude 5,000.
Valley Dude 5,000.
So Valley Dude says, how is her car doing? Did Dave put the new radio in yet? So
we have a video on that.
Dave didn't put the new radio in. Sydney and I put the radio in.
That's right.
So.
There was no I worked the deal to get a radio and the rest was on them. Did you kill her though?
No, but I did most of it myself.
But what is it? Sakon?
Yeah.
Sent over radio for our daughter's 2013.
We've got some tweaks to make to it to make it make sense for us because we did finish it and get it installed and so it's functional. But there's a couple other accessories that we need to run, like
the rear camera.
There's a backup camera that came with it that we need to run. Just a few things we have to tweak with it. But yes, it is installed and it works great. It is a huge upgrade from what was in there before.
Makes the car feel new.
It does feel, yes. It does remind me, or it does make me not realize it's a 2013.
I was just bitching about tech and we added tech to the car.
Well, another thing is that the previous owners told us when we were signing on the title that Dr. Pepper had exploded in the car at one point.
And it was very obvious.
And I found every ounce of that Dr. Pepper exploded.
Pre-taking the radio out, it was pretty obvious. But once you took it out, oh man.
Once you took it out, I definitely found it in the back. But that was a good learning lesson for our daughter because I said, look, this is completely sealed up. So you think, but look at where else I'm finding Dr. Pepper, inside the vehicle itself. So, it's been a pretty good car. I think we're going to maybe have to put a new battery in. We haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
It kind of died on that and tires. Yeah. That and some tires,
headlights, taillights, because the people previously put film over the lights and it's melted itself into the lights and it's just made them impossible at night.
Yeah.
And Rob said used Badlands, Kelly.
Yeah, so I know that was the plan, but when you're top heavy on the Raptor right now, that's where it's tough to be like a used vehicle.
Yeah, and this sounds like whoa us, but something happened to YouTube last year where they cut our ad revenue in half.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean that, and I'm not begging for money. I'm just saying like money that could have been help pay things off earlier is gone.
But to piggyback just really quickly back to her car. So we've actually talked about when she's been driving it, being a new driver, it's kind of like what we talked about with the Wrangler, where it just is kind of weird to respond. that it's a little tougher for a teenager, I think.
Well, Mama Bear and I said it. I think it's a little big for her.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is that it's for a teenage driver who's just kind of learning and figuring it out. She still thinks you have to do this driving down the road, and she did this all the way to the pizza place pickup the other night, and I was like, you don't have to do that. And she makes me nervous when she does that because I'm like, does that mean you're going to do this? Yeah. They're like, you don't have to do this. This is only corrective. So, all that to be said, I think a smaller car would probably be a better option for her, but that just means we would be on the hunt.
Honestly, I would like to find her a Jeep Renegade.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're quirky looking. It's kind of fun for a young kid, but yet small engine, good fuel economy. The idea of the Explorer for us was it was going to be, and it is a pretty safe car.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more we're finding her skill set for driving is
and she may surprise us. She may come out to be a really great driver, but right now she is not.
That's right. That's right. Anything else, Kelly?
I don't know. You may go through the comments and see if we missed anything.
I'll let you like to scroll through those comments.
I can't see them. My eyes. I'm old. Oh, thanks. Allie says I have to work all the time to disconnect. No, I get that. Hope you had a great trip, Allie. I know I saw.
Yeah. Allie took her dad bought her or leased a Bronco and they got to go to off-rodeo in Texas.
I think he bought one.
It's like Callie's third, fourth time in Texas.
No, it was 6. Well, what? I know it was her 6th Bronco off-rodeo because we were texting a little bit about it. And then she said that she said 6 has got to be a record, right? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. I've been to 3. And I feel
2 of those were provided by Ford.
Yes, 2 were provided by Ford. One was Raptor Off Rodeo, and one
which I guess ours is over now. We can't use ours.
Yeah, I don't know when that expired. I haven't looked into that.
I bet we could call Ford though and go, hey. Jason Leopold said we're going to have to park in the visitors parking if we bought a Wrangler.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, one more sad thing. So it didn't look like our Bronco is going to get wrapped this year. Our daughter's having some medical issues, and I think she's going to take our wrap money for she's got to have what, a MRI tomorrow?
Just have an MRI tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting the old noodle checked out.
Yeah.
So if you happen to see us at Supercell East in April and it's not wrapped, just saying she might have stole that money.
Yeah.
But we're still trying.
And last year we thought she was going to steal the money with her hip. And so
yeah, kids in sport are great.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mute Style says next Wrangler will hopefully be a little lighter, remove tech not needed.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting conversation, which I know you mentioned earlier. We were kind of talking about that, but it's funny because when the base Squatch came out, you were all like, this is stupid. This is dumb. This is all these things. Mm-hmm. But now do you realize there was a reason for it?
No, it's still stupid. And now the base Squatch is like $10,000 more than it was when it first came out. No, there's minimal tech. Yes, I get that. But for all the things you don't get, I don't know. I need to revisit that at some point because it's priced so similarly to the Big Ben. I don't know anymore, man. It used to be like you could go through these. Okay, I want this option, this option. Okay, that puts me here. They've blurred the line. Ford has badly blurred the lines with their trims.
Justin Zimmerman says, have y'all seen the Rivian R2 rear glass? Maybe do it like that.
I did, where I believe it folds down. I watched Doug DeMuro go through that the other day. In the ugliest wrap I've ever seen in my life.
Jason says having competition helps both sides. Yep. Absolutely. They sure do. It helps both sides of the fence.
Yep. Which, I mean, we're pretty pro Bronco on this channel, but I'm excited to see what Wranglers bring to the table. And we have to start seeing some test mules floating around. At some point, they've got to start, if they're a year and a half from market or for showing people. Yeah. We've got to start seeing some spy shots.
Hey, Ford video guy. I know it's been a minute since we said hello to you, so I'm sorry we didn't catch it earlier. But Black Wolf says, just ordered a 26 base 2-door with a manual.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on that manual too.
And sorry if we didn't get to this in time.
Yes. Do we know what changes were made to the 26 versus the 25? My dealer has no idea. For one, the grab handles. I know that was mentioned by Jason Leopold.
The grab handles up at the top, really about it.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of other.
I don't know. I don't think two doors got the rear vents. And it shows how much I've paid attention to two doors on that. But I think, I don't know. I don't think that, honest to God, Blacko, if you're still in here, I don't think there was really any changes.
Yeah, I don't think there was a ton of changes for it.
Jack Evans was in here.
I know. I was just gonna say hello, Jack Evans. Do Jeeps do better with? Oh, you already talked about that. So I think if we missed your question, I'm so sorry. I tried to kind of catch it all.
Once again, thank you to Steve P for all the 10 memberships. Really awesome job. Really awesome guy, man. If you're in Arizona and you're out, you see a little two-door red Bronco that looks really cool and old looking, go check out Steve P. He's a super nice guy.
You can read that one.
Which one?
The one that's on the screen.
But guy, do you think Bronco will keep the frameless window? Oh, well, this is a really good question. Do you think Bronco will keep frameless window door frames, or do they add the frames to help quiet the noise? I hope they add. I like the idea behind the frameless doors. So if you don't know, when you open the door, there's no metal part of the door where the window would roll up into. It rolls up into the hard top. On concept, you're like, oh, well, that's going to make it easier. No, taking the doors off is a nightmare. Putting them back on is a bigger nightmare. I did a video on this where we put the Bronco, took the door off next to the Jeep, and it's a Wrangler door, even though it was on a Gladiator. The front of that's all Wrangler, and Jeep was night and day different, easier to take off. Now, I like the idea of how Ford was trying to hide the latches in the interior, to make it smooth looking. I don't think the normal buying audience gives a rat's ass about that. Of like, oh, well, that's innovative. No, it makes it harder, and you chip the doors up trying to put the damn things back on. And that's not to say Jeep's completely free of like their bullshit, like the plug that you got to pop the plastic of the inside out to get to where the connection is. That's dumb. You've got the little safety strap, that's just part of what Jeep does. So the door don't flop out into somebody's car, but it's not the most friendly thing either. But to just literally slide the door off with the Jeep door is, oh my God, so much easier. But so I hope, Bug Guy, they go back to that system. I would be happy. Strop.
Greg says he got to see an original Strop the other day running around town. It was cool to see the original. That is
nice,
very cool.
Nice.
There was one other. Yeah, Justin, I'll be honest, I would love to see a Hurricane in there as well.
Great engine. I think
that is underrated.
I think we do the next Jeep gets the Hurricane option, or a 2-liter 4-cylinder option.
And I think that's it. But let me just check real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything new.
Oh, Allie's gonna fight me on that.
Have you seen the new touchscreen though? Because that's the first I've seen a shot of that, because I haven't been in a new Jeep in a while.
I like it personally. I think their Uconnect is really damn good. And I think I even said it back when we got our Bronco originally. I think the Uconnect was a better system than what Sync was. Our Sync has been quirky. As far as like it jumps, it freezes up, which is just a computer issue. Sometimes you have to reboot it.
Oh yeah.
The radio itself.
My CarPlay hasn't worked for the last week.
Yeah. Well, I've got a video coming out, some issues we've had with her Raptor. So yeah.
Ellie can attest to some of the things she's seen on the calendar. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. But yeah, that's a hot mess express. Ford Video Guy says base didn't have many changes. Other trims did have a bunch.
Yeah. See, and if you want to know those key details, you go over to Long MacArthur Ford on Monday nights, I believe it is. And Tim brings that kind of heat. They bring it. They're throwing fastballs, Kelly. They're not in the AAA. They're the major leagues.
They are the major leagues.
And that's why their viewers over there are so loyal to Tim.
Allie said it was a 24.
Damn it, Allie. Quit messing our thought process up.
Oh, this was this one before I close it out. So Bud Guy says, do you see the Wrangler getting a little bigger so it's the same size as the Bronco, or at least for the two-door?
I think both two doors are gone.
Everybody loves that conversation.
Well, yeah, but they're gone. Like, sales can't just, like, why do you think Ford's killed the two-door and basically everything? It just doesn't sell. I like the two-door. I think if you wanted the most classic look to the Generation 1 Bronco, two-door is the way to go. The little four-cylinder is great in it. The thought when you used to be able to get the V6 in it, freaking badass. Probably for most people's needs, just as where these vehicles generally.
Wrangler or Bronco, sorry.
Bronco.
Okay.
Most people, like in the Jeepish community in the winter, they park them anyways. I'm not saying we see it a lot with Wrangler.
Yeah.
And I think that is a lot with two-door for Bronco as well. So I think next generation, I don't think you see a two-door in either brand. I think once Jeep comes out with the next Wrangler and it's strictly a four-door. Now, this is speculation on my part. I read the tea leaves. I kind of know where the industry's at. Sales-wise.
Tea leaves.
But I don't think Wrangler has and you talk about people that are going to be pissed off, but they don't even, I don't think two doors are 2% of their sales anymore. It's like gutted.
Yeah.
We drove the Rubicon. Remember 2 years ago, we took a Rubicon on 35s, two doors.
Yes.
Great vehicle. Fun vehicle.
Yes.
And if it was just me and you, we're at the tail end of our life, or we're a new couple, just no kids.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
Thanks.
Bronco the same way. Bronco sales for two doors, they're just non-existent.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Allie, who's in the comment, or Long MacArthur, or whoever's in the comments, I bet it's almost 15-1 sales of four-door to two-door. Like I guarantee, and yes, Jason, I know people love them, and I'm not shitting on them for doing it. I think it's fun. I think its options are fun, but manufacturing, we see how expensive cars are today, and how can you justify building something? Two doors are very specific. The doors are, and Bronco especially, are very specific to that.
Yeah.
You're talking about all this extra stamping cost for what? If they don't sell.
Right. If the number's not there.
We got a question?
No, it's just a final.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Douglas Blair. Douglas Blair has been an awesome guy to join the channel here the past 12 months or so. He's been a blessing. We greatly appreciate it. So
definitely check out Patreon, check out memberships here. And for those that got the 10 memberships from Steve
let us know
tonight, let us know what you'd like to see there too.
Yeah. And once again, before we end it, novesites.com. Use whatever they have lights. They got all kinds of stuff over there. Good company. Is it an American made company? No, I'm not going to lie to you about that, but I'm very skeptical. When they first sent me a original set of lights, I said, I'll try them out. And I said, I'll give you an honest review. And I've been blown away by those lights. Yeah. They've been on our vehicle for almost 2 years now. And if anything ever happened, I'd be honest and let you guys know. But if you use the code ATN Offroad, all one word, you can save 20%. And they do interesting stuff, man. I think the lights we put on Rebecca are just because, or not Rebecca, Ghost is just interesting enough because it's a weird looking vehicle-ish. I think they match it very well.
Yeah. So. And last shout out for this evening, definitely check out White Knuckle Off-Road Products. Again, we do not get a kickback from them. We just love their products, and they're sponsoring the show right now. So please definitely check them out. Tell them we sent you. And I think that's
Michael Nice says he is the 1%er. Well,
yeah,
they pay. I guess it pays to be the 1%er somehow.
Yeah, for sure. Heck yes, it is. Yep. $20 off for sure.
Yeah, no, it helps out quite a bit. So, guys, we appreciate everybody joining in tonight. If there's conversations like this that you want us to debate, we've got this. Generally, we're not on the same page of things, especially when it comes to Wrangler and Broncos. We're never on the same page. We appreciate.
And I'm generally not going to give you a straight answer because I'm going to have 6 behind it.
We greatly appreciate all your feedback. You can email us at allterrainnationmedia@gmail.com if you ever have a question. Instagram's an easy way to get a hold of me pretty rapidly. And Patreon members can hit us up over there, or members here can always hit the old chat there and get a hold of Sarah. So leave us a comment. If you made it this far, your team long form. because you made it an hour and 35 minutes. So we greatly appreciate your time and feedback. And Kelly, wheeling season's coming. We were in the 70s this week. We're in the 30s now.
Wheeling season, softball season.
Yep, umpiring season. We're in season. So whether it be 2-wheel drive,
4-wheel drive,
it does not matter what you drive. Wrangler, Bronco, I don't care, man. It could be even a Miata, which I've
smile on your face.
wanted to own a Miata for forever.
Oh, he's not happening.
No, this is your All-Terrain Nation presented by White Knuckle Off-Road Products. And Kelly, what are we?
We're out.
Peace, everybody. Love you guys. See y'all next week.